At the moment, Sha Lin is the best damage champion we have. You might not like him, but you gotta respect him. And in my opinion, he is indeed the strongest damage champion. You don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. And of course, I will teach you how to be a very annoying pain in the ass, which Sha Lin is. Damage champions in this game kinda divided in two categories. Some of them have high burst damage like Cassie, you know, she has a nice burst and can kill squishy targets in a blink of an eye, but Cassie and the rest of burst champions kinda struggle killing tanks compared to other category of damage champs. The other category is high DPS champions, so basically Victor and Tyra. Those guys can shred the shit out of tanks if they dare to get in their sights. However, champions in this category kinda struggle fighting squishy targets like flankers. How do you think, in which category is Sha Lin? The point is that he is in both. His primary weapon is a burst damage and his planted ability gives him sick DPS that allows him to shred everything he wants. Shields, tanks, squishy targets, anyone. This is why I think that he is a little bit OP at the moment, and I've been very surprised when I recently saw that many people consider Sha Lin worthless and useless. I was just like, wow, really? Useless? This guy? So anyways, how do you become more effective Sha Lin? First of all, and most important, you need to hit your shots. His shots are the only way you can deal damage. Now, how do you hit your shots more consistently? And the best thing that can help you here is experience. The more you play Sha Lin, the more you get used to his bow, just like that. But there are still a couple more factors that define your accuracy. And first of all, it's range. In theory, Sha Lin can be effective at any range, even at super long distances like Kinessa. But since those arrows you shoot are projectiles, you kinda need to predict where your enemy is gonna go, and the longer the distance, the more time you need to predict. So if you're playing on the Timber Mill map and you stand on the rooftop and trying to hit someone who is standing on the opposite rooftop, the chances are you're gonna struggle hitting your shots consistently. So sometimes you just need to get a bit closer. And of course, if you decide to do so, be careful not to get into some wacky positions, allowing Makoa to hook you or something like that. Second factor that can increase your accuracy is the high ground. You don't want to fight someone who is on higher ground than you. That's just common sense. Most champions aren't geared to fight someone who is on the higher ground, and Sha Lin is no exception. Now, one tip that you should bear in mind that Sha Lin bow doesn't require you to be always aiming at the enemy like Victor or Tyra. You only need to aim when you are about to shoot, and that means that you can utilize the time between shots to dodge some incoming damage and confuse the enemy, and it perfectly comes in line with his F ability that allows you to dodge bullets in an even more effective way. Now, about his abilities. You don't wanna use it just because it's available, just because it's off cooldown. You have to deliberately find a good moment to use it. I myself do that mistake sometime and I just use my Impaler arrow when I shouldn't use it, and then when I actually need it, it's on cooldown. Sha Lin's abilities are not like Victor's grenade, you don't just throw it and pray for good. Now, how do you use his abilities properly? Impaler arrow. You wanna use it to pin people to the wall, because that's the only way it's gonna stun someone. Bear in mind, this ability doesn't deal any additional damage. It just deals the damage of a regular shot, and it only pushes people horizontally. So if you compare it to Cassie's disengage ability that pushes both horizontally and vertically, Impaler arrow is gonna push people just a little bit, so usually you don't wanna try to push someone off the cliff unless he's standing right on the edge. Now, how do you pin people to the wall more effectively? There is one trick that works every fucking time, and it helps killing flankers easily. So, when you see a flanker coming, step back a little bit and let him come to you, and he will give you an easy impale on him. Just like that. It works literally every time, and since nobody gets resilience, you can easily kill a stand flanker. You also should know that Impaler arrow will always push the target for the same distance, no matter how strong you draw. Now, about his planted ability, and this ability again is not throw and forget. You have to deliberately find a good moment to use it. Usually using it in the beginning of the fight is a bad idea, because people expect you to do that, and that means you will be easy to hit. So instead, do this in the beginning. Try to win a poke battle, make enemy damage heroes back off and heal, or just kill them. And then when you are sure that there is no Kinessa that will suddenly peek around the corner and shoot you or something like that, then you can use your planted ability and either destroy the tank's shield or just kill the tank himself. So just remember that you shouldn't use it when you expect somebody to shoot at you. Also, you can use planted straight after you shoot, which will result in 1800 damage almost instantly. It will most certainly kill Eevee or Sky, and if you hit one more arrow of the planted ability, you're gonna kill Androxus, and one more and you kill Buck. Also, be careful when you face Androxus and make sure not to use planted when you aren't sure that his reversal is on the cooldown, because if he manages to reflect it in your face, you die. Now, about his withdraw ability. You can use it defensively to escape or offensively to pick around the corner and have an easy shot on someone. Other than that, there is not much to say about it. Now, his ultimate. How and when should you use it? And I think that the best way to use it is flanking. You can go behind the enemy tank, into the enemy backline, and from there, use your ultimate and kill everyone. Really, it's so easy to kill people when they don't shoot back, and nobody will actually try to get close enough to you to see you, because everyone is scared to get close to Sha Lin while he's in ultimate. So use it as a flanking tool, make sure the tank won't be able to cover his teammates with his shield, and just kill everyone. Alright, now loadout cards. The point about them that Sha Lin doesn't need his abilities too often, and focusing on reducing cooldowns is not the way to go. But if you have a spare slot or two, I suggest getting the Mirage card, so your escape will be available more often, and the Master Archer, since the planted abilities cooldown is pretty high. All the defensive and heal cards are pure bullshit, and I don't recommend you getting them. What I do recommend is getting the card Swagger. I hold it on 4 points and it gives me 200 HP. I cannot tell you how many times I survived because of this. Also a card Wanderlust that gives you movement speed. I hold it on 4 points too, and it allows me to maneuver and dodge some damage. And the last card I find useful is Run Like a Wind, that will give you even more maneuverability when you need it. Now, burning cards. Deft Hands. You totally don't wanna get Deft Hands, alright? But really, Wrecker is usually the best choice. If you feel that your team can destroy shields without you and there's enough Wreckers already, you might consider getting Bulldozer, if you need it. Now, if your team needs Cauterize, it's better that it's not you who buys it, because its effectiveness depends on how often you can reapply it, and Sha Lin is not the best for that meta. So from the red cards, Rekka or Bulldozer. From the green items, I like getting Life Rip. Every shot heals you up to 100 HP on the first level. I think it's cool, and there's no reason getting any other green items for Sha Lin. The blue cards are obvious, you wanna counter those champions who can reach you. So, as usual, Heaven, Blast Shields, Resilience, depending on the setup. And the last one is yellow cards. I wouldn't recommend focusing on them, as the rest of the slots are just more important. But if you have already upgraded the rest of the cards, I suggest getting either Nimble for even more maneuverability or Morale Boost, so you can flank and wipe the enemy team more often. So that's it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more of my videos, and